We're ready to begin with Wyoming. We have student athletes Justin James, Jordan Naughton, Coach Alan Edwards. Coach, if we can start with you, just get your thoughts on today's game.
Well, good game. I thought, obviously, in the first half, we played some of our best basketball, defending, also rebounding the basketball, even within their pressure. I thought they tried to speed us up, which I thought at times, they were successful. But the second half, I thought, again, some self-inflicted wounds. I thought we got a little bit careless with the basketball and wasn't assertive in a sense of trying to attack their pressure, but also being smart on the other end after taking it and getting it across half court. And then, I thought, it kind of wore us down a little bit in the sense of guys probably getting a little tired, but, love to fight from this group, from what they've been through all year. They've always come out with the right energy in practice, also in games. Tonight wasn't any different. We just happened to come out on the wrong end of it. But, proud of the guys and just what they just tried to continue to do as the season went on.
Thank you, Coach. Take questions for the student athletes first, and then we'll come back to Coach.
Justin, about the pressure, again, looked like in the first half you handled it well. In the second half, that's what they try to do is speed you up. Did you kind of get caught in that a little bit, or wear you down as well, or combination? How would you kind of assess that?
Oh, yeah, there were a few times, where they did speed us up, me, AJ, Jake, and all the guards. Yeah, we did a really good job in that first half, just continuing to play our pace, get the right shots that we wanted. But I feel like in the second half, it was kind of like a panic, because they were making shots. So, that's on me, just, having the ball in my hands, dictating the pace and just making the right shots. But they did a good job. All credit to them. It's a hell of a basketball team. Yep.
You mentioned they were making shots, but you guys weren't making as many shots in the second half. Was that part of the panic or maybe the pressure, too, that when you guys weren't making shots?
No, not really. We usually don't stress about missing shots because, all of us are confident, that those shots will eventually go in. It was mostly just on the defensive side. We had a lot of turnovers that led to transition buckets, and then we didn't rebound the ball well in that second half either. So it wasn't the offense. Coach always preaches it's not the offense. The offense is going to be fine. But that second half on the defense is where, we lost it.
JJ or Jordan, whoever, you guys were up 13 with about 15 to go, and then they had the lead 5 minutes later. I mean, have you ever been a part of just a momentum swing like that? And what, I guess, other than panic, did you think contributed to that in that specific spurt?
It wasn't really like I played a lot of basketball in my career, and I've been a part of a lot of swings, on our side and their side. But, I was just trying to, have our team focus in on just relaxing and just playing our game. But, all credit to them. They did their job. They followed the game plan and they won the game.
And Vance Jackson had a personal 13-0 run, scored 17 of 20 for them at one point. What was he doing to be so effective?
Nothing. He was just being aggressive. He was making tough shots, shots that I've never seen him make before. But he's a good player. And he stepped up on the big stage. They won the game.
Jeff Grammer, Albuquerque Journal. Jordan, Carlton Bragg had 22 and 20 last game. I know foul trouble was a big part of it, but what did you guys do to maybe either get him in the foul trouble or did you just generally slow Carlton down from what he did Saturday?
We had a mentality of going inside a little more this game and trying to attack him, especially from the jump. And I feel like we did a good job of that. And I feel like on defense, just to slow him down, we had a lot of help from the other 4 players on the court. It was really a team effort. And, if I'm in there fronting the post, then, we have to have backside help, or backside guards, helping us. So really it's just a team effort, bringing the energy, the aggression, and the physicality to the game. It's just it's a full team effort.
Any other questions for our student athletes? Okay, I'll dismiss them at this time. Thanks, man.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Oh, yes. Good job.
Questions for the coach?
Coach, they talked about Jackson, just how big of an impact did he have, and did he kind of surprise you with what he was able to do, or did you guys just kind of let him get loose? Or what were your thoughts on his run that, in the second half?
Well, I mean, I thought we lost him a few times in transition, and he got a couple looks, I want to say, at the top of the key. And, no different than, any basketball player. Once you see the ball go in a couple of times, your confidence goes up a little bit more. And then I thought he just made some good individual moves that allowed them to gain some momentum as a group. I thought he caught it off the block a few times, made some moves, thought he attacked our guys off the dribble. Because that was one of the things I told our guys after the game. I said, when you're talking about the first half compared to the second half, was, we did a great job defending and rebounding. And taking care, well, for the most part, taking care of the basketball in the first half. And I thought, those three areas hurt us in the second half. The rebound swing changed because I want to say we were either up rebounding 1 or 2. And then, we gave up some turnovers that led to easy buckets. And then I thought, we didn't do a good job of pressuring the basketball, but yet also containing it.
You mentioned their pressure. I know that they pressured you guys some late in the game over the weekend, but today, pretty much from the jump, they were extended full court. Did that surprise you at all?
I told our guys we had to be ready for anything because I thought he had changed up, just quite a bit on the year, whether it be pressure man-to-man, 2-3 zone, 1-3-1 matchup. And I told our guys, even from our first game at their place, we would have to be ready for pressure. And like I said, I thought we did a great job handling it in the first half. I thought the second half we got careless. And not only even in the full court, I thought we got careless in the half court after we broke the press and tried to make, what I would call pretty passes rather than simple passes that led to turnovers and allowed them to get back out in transition. But, it wasn't like that wasn't something we covered in the sense of our press break offense or things of that nature. But, again, I thought for the most part, actually, I thought they just kind of weared us down a little bit. JJ was on his knees, a little tired. I thought Banks made some careless ones as well. And then after that, you're dealing with guys that are not naturally ball handlers. I think those are the two in our program. TJ's a skilled type forward. Trace can handle it a little bit in BP, but they're not pure ball handlers.
You bring your 4 freshmen into this kind of setting, this kind of atmosphere. Their only postseason experience this season. Just what kind of experience do you think that'll give them going forward?
Well, again, just on the year, they had been thrown into the fire. And actually, I thought they've stepped up and they've gotten better. Even just looking at them, TJ in both games, I didn't think, he didn't score at our place and didn't score tonight, but I thought he actually had a pretty good defensive game for us. BP and Trace obviously have ability, but I thought they got in and did some good things tonight too. Maybe got rushed a few times. And Thompson, I think he has a bright future within a sense of what he'll be able to do as he gets stronger and more reps of playing. I think he's going to be terrific. But just the atmosphere, obviously the Lobos travel pretty well in a sense of their crowd. So, all that was talked to our guys about as well. It wasn't like we came in here and they said, oh man, Lobos got a lot of people. No, we knew that they traveled well, but we had to be able to sustain something for 40 minutes, and I just didn't think we sustained it.
Anything else for Coach Edwards?
Oh, Alan, kind of a big picture question, but other than staying relatively healthy, what strides does this program need to make to get this thing back turned around?
Well, at the end of the day, even if we were healthy this year, I'm not saying we go from 4 wins to top of the conference, but I think we're in the middle of the pack. But what I thought JJ did this year, not even from carrying his team for so long, what he did from a leadership standpoint, is going to be well impacted with these young men. And I think the kid, well, I want to say the kid, but Hunter Maldonado might be one of the best leaders I've ever been around, or potential leaders I've ever been around from a character standpoint, you know, what he does on the floor, what he does off the floor, what he does in the classroom. You know, not having him physically on the floor hurt, but he was just as much of a voice to these young guys as any. So, you know, when you look at what these young kids had to go through this year, and then you're adding pieces back in, again, it's not like I'm sitting up here and saying we go, even with next year, go from 4 to, you know, we're winning a championship. I think, you know, what's wrong, I guess, sometimes with society, nobody likes the process. And this is a part of the process. And these young men worked hard this year, got better, and they went through something that I couldn't simulate in practice. So that can only help them going forward.